introduction. Thank you, all of you who are able to be on tonight. We will keep this as efficient as we can so that you can all get on with your evenings. Okay, so here is basically the outline of our session. We've already done our introductions. Mark Sunkel, our assistant chair, is also on the line. He is listening, so he may pop in if he feels that I've missed something, and Melissa as well. We want to make sure that you are well prepared for the state tournament, which we are very excited to be hosting next Wednesday at Towson University. So we're going to go over event information, general information as to the venue, and then also competition-specific information. And then, as Melissa said, we will follow up with Q&A at the end. So I'm just going to go over to our event guide. You will receive a copy of this in your email box tomorrow. And this will give a good overview of the entire tournament. So our tournament is next Wednesday, November 1st. Please also note that the rain date is Thursday, November 2nd. As of today, all of next week looks pretty clear. We know that that could change, but we're crossing our fingers that Wednesday still looks good. Here is the schedule. We'll have volunteer check-in at 9 a.m., but also schools can begin arriving at that same time. So schools should arrive sometime between 9 and 10:30 a.m. There will be a coaches meeting on site at 10:30 a.m. It will be brief, and we will just call out the location. We'll let you know at team check-in, because we should cover most of the information that is necessary tonight on this call. Opening ceremony will be promptly at 11 a.m. Competition will begin at 11:30, and lunches will be available at the same time at the beginning of competition. We asked over the last few days for your updated registration. Any teams that would be deleting any doubles pairs that maybe competed at district tournament. Of course, we're not adding anyone. And also we asked for your travel party, any assistant coaches or anyone like that. That is now closed. We will consider your rosters complete. If you have anyone to delete after this point, they will be considered a scratch the day of the competition. So anyone who is a participant athlete, coaches and assistant coaches will receive a lunch, that sort of thing. Award ceremonies at the conclusion of competition is 6 p.m. That's a tentative time, because if the competition is nice and speedy and efficient, we will do award ceremonies at the conclusion of competition. The last few years, that has proved to be what happens. We actually do go through competition rather quickly, and award ceremonies get pushed up by an hour or two. So just so you know, if you're telling anybody who's traveling from out of town that competition could go a lot faster than expected, and award ceremonies may be earlier than 6 p.m. We are really excited to welcome nearly 180 student athletes and 25 coaches from the participating school districts. We have Allegheny, Anne Arundel, Baltimore City, Calvert, Caroline, Cecil, Charles, Frederick County, Wacomico, Washington County are all joining us as the advancing teams from their districts. Location is the Towson University Tennis Center. There are driving directions and bus parking directions. Please make sure that your transportation is aware of where they are to park after they drop you off. Also, just note that there will be Special Olympics specific signage leading up to the venue. So if you're not exactly sure where you are once you get to campus, look for those signs. Please let your spectators know that they should abide by all parking signs and regulations on campus, and that visitor parking is available in lot 21, which does include a little bit of a walk to the venue. I also want to note at this point, anyone who may need there is the parking lot where the buses will drop us off, which is in this next slide. I'll just scroll down to it. You'll see on this screen, this is the route that your bus will take to get onto campus. And where the red arrow ends here is the parking lot, but there's a service road and a little bit of a walk from the parking lot to the tennis courts. We will have a golf cart on site. Should there be someone who has some ambulation needs, maybe cannot walk that far, we can go and pick them up. Please let us know ahead of time if you can. We will have a contact number for you on site, and that would be the best number to call and let us know so we can radio for, and there will be a volunteer stationed by the busing that can also alert us. So just so you know that that is, we don't want transportation to be an issue down that service road. So just let us know. This map you'll give your bus drivers and any of your, it's a good idea to give any of your spectators who might be driving in. You'll see lot 14 where the buses will park. Make sure that you get your bus driver's cell phone number and any way to contact him or her when you get on site, because you can see it's a little bit of a distance to the venue, and it would be a good idea to keep them regularly updated as to whether we're going to end on time, early or late. This is a little bit of this is an overview, this map here on your screen of, you'll see with this yellow star right here, that's where the buses will drop you off. And then there's that service road walking path down to team check-in. You'll see where that yellow block is. That's the control center team check-in area. It will be clearly marked. We'll go over check-in in a moment. One coach will check everybody in. And then you'll see this blue rectangle here is our giant lunch tent, and that's also where the awards and ceremonies will take place. There are 10 tennis courts at Towson University, and we will be using all of them. So lunches will be provided to all registered student athletes, coaches, and volunteers. As I mentioned, we've asked for your credentialing. That's now closed. Light concessions will be available for purchase using cash only, but I want to stress that the light concessions are just snack-type foods like chips and candy. There's not anything really substantial to purchase on site. I will go over in a minute some of the local dining options, and a few of them actually deliver to the courts should your student athletes or your traveling party require something more substantial to eat. As we said, opening ceremony will begin at 11 a.m. This is an opportunity where we at Special Olympics really love to highlight the student athletes who've actually participated throughout the season. You know, those who have modeled on your team excellent sportsmanship and behavior during the regular season. So please, if you know of a deserving player or coach to participate in the opening ceremony, please use this SurveyMonkey link that you'll click on from the document that we email out to you. We have roles for torchbearer, the athlete and coach's oaths, and national anthem singer or performer. We do have some people play instruments. And a few years now we've been able to actually feature a student athlete during the anthem, and that is excellent. So if you have anybody on your team that could serve in those roles, please fill out that link. But also note that they should, whoever you nominate really should be appropriate for that role. You know, we don't want to put anybody in a situation where they might freeze up due to anxiety, or you know, they might need an exceptional amount of help finishing that role out. So we want to be sensitive to that. So just follow that link and please give us your nominations. Awards will be presented at the end of the competition in that same tent next to the tennis courts. Following the conclusion of the competition in each division, there will be 4 divisions. Usually they tend to finish around the same time, but if one division is completely finished, we will go ahead and do the awards for that. Medical personnel will be on site. Spectators have to remain outside the tennis courts. We encourage you to tell your spectators to bring lawn chairs or blankets. There are, or at least there have been in the past, bleachers, but they are not really situated in the viewing path of the tennis courts, not to mention that the tennis courts stretch out quite a ways down the property. So it's a good idea to bring lawn chairs and the like for comfortable seating. Please also note that Towson University is a tobacco-free university, and their policy prohibits all forms of smoking, including electronic cigarettes, in all campus buildings and on all exterior grounds. So that is all tobacco products, so please let your spectators know that as well. At the conclusion of competition, we would encourage and invite you, please, to fill out the evaluation at the web link contained in this document. We'll also email that out when we email out the official results. Your evaluation helps us to better plan for next season, and also helps us to ever evolve the Unified Tennis program and elevate its importance in corollary sports. So in case of inclement weather, a decision may be made to postpone until Thursday, November 2nd, which is our rate date. We will try to make that call as early as possible. As we know, it can be a nightmare rescheduling your transportation. If it's very clear that it will rain on Wednesday, and we know that on Tuesday, we'll make that call, but no later than 6:30 a.m. on Wednesday, November 1st, so the day of competition. Sign up with Nixle to receive text messages and alerts from Special Olympics. You have to subscribe, so you text SOMD Sports to 888-777, and that'll subscribe you automatically. You can also follow Special Olympics Maryland on Twitter. And also, you could always give Special Olympics a call, given those numbers below. Like I said, we'll make that call very, very early if it's necessary, so that you have lots of time to prepare for the rain date. As I mentioned before, we will not have concessions, substantial concessions. We have snacks and that sort of thing being provided by Towson University on site. But we know also that lunch is at 11:30, and you might be there quite into the afternoon. So if you feel like ordering for your team, we recommend Seasons Pizza on York Road or Papa John's Pizza that's on York Road. Those are a quick drive from the tennis courts, but also from experience, they will deliver. If you are trying to get something to eat on the way out of town, there's always a Subway and McDonald's. There's other dining options in Towson, but we try to identify those things that are pretty easily accessible from the campus and not too far away. So I do know a lot of coaches take advantage of the Papa John's pizza delivery. Just because it's so convenient, and they will come right out to the courts. Okay, now we're going to move into competition-specific information. So you know our 2017 Unified Tennis Coaches Resource Guide will cover the competition. Team check-in: when you arrive, one coach or representative from each team is to report to the control center upon arrival. You will receive a packet of information, and that is when you should report any scratches and subsequent substitutions. And we want to note, of course, as is with the district tournaments and those sorts of things, substitutions are allowed, but the match will be exhibition at that point. We won't allow substitutions for points. unless in special cases, which we'll talk about later. While the coaches are checking in, the teams are welcome to warm up and or congregate in the lunch or awards tent or open grassy area. Team warm-up. This is something a little different this year. Prior to the opening ceremony, teams will be allowed a set period of time to warm up on the designated courts by tournament personnel, who will control the time limit and flow of teams onto the court. Please bring your own balls and definitely mark them with your school name so that you can find them at the end of your warm-up period. The warm-up process will be communicated to coaches at check-in, but generally the tournament personnel at check-in will let you know where you can check in with a court representative to be given a court for warm-up, and you'll be given a set period of time during which time to warm up on those courts. We've gotten some feedback in the past that it would help the process along a little bit if it was a little bit more organized at the warm-up. So that's what we're taking control of this year. Scratches need to be reported when the coach checks in. If players are absent, as I said, alternates are not allowed, but you may substitute a player. The match will be considered exhibition, and the opponent will receive credit for the victory, and it will be scored 4-0, 4-0. We will stage all matches. The first matches will be scheduled on, they'll be assigned a particular court. So there are 10 courts. The first 10 matches will be assigned to a court. Thereafter, matches will be turned out as courts become available. A public address system will be used to call players to report to the control center. So make sure that your coach is, your team is stationed somewhere that can hear those announcements, and it's not a bad idea to designate a non-playing player or an assistant coach or such to kind of come and get you should there be an issue with doubles teams reporting for that staging. When called, players must report immediately to the control center ready to play. The on-deck players will receive their court assignments as courts become available and must be ready. Players should not leave the site and will not be tracked down. If players do not report within the second call, the pair is subject to forfeiture. Roster consistency. The playing roster must be consistent with the roster as it appears on your 2017 Unified Tennis State Tournament registration and travel party roster, which we emailed out this past week. And thank you coaches, for filling that out or for confirming that your roster was already set. Scratches are permissible. In the instance of a scratch, the coach may substitute a player. Again, however, the match will be played as exhibition, and the team who substituted will forfeit and will not earn team points. But we will, if you have a substitute to play, we will play the match. Team scoring. I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain this because this can get confusing for some people. So want to avoid day of confusion to explain team scoring right now. 1 point is awarded to a team for each victorious doubles match unless noted as exhibition or non-scoring. That is because we give each team in each division the same opportunity of scoring to score. So as much as possible, we keep teams of the same size in the same division, but sometimes it doesn't work out. There might be a school roster that has a doubles team that has no competition in a specific division, and they have to be put in a division where they have competition, for example, green or yellow ball pairs. We give everyone an equal opportunity an equal number of scoring opportunities. So if that means 8, but when everyone gets 2 matches, you might play 10 matches, 2 of those matches may be designated as exhibition or non-scoring. For individual skills competition, the player who earns the highest score will earn 1 point for his or her team. If the scoring opportunities are not equal, as I just explained, within a team division, matches will be noted as exhibition or non-scoring for specific teams. However, these are not unimportant matches. Because the team that is designated as non-scoring has an opportunity to block one's opponent from scoring their team points. So I'm just going to randomly choose 2 schools to demonstrate this. Let's say Clear Spring from Washington County is playing Severna Park. And Severna Park has been designated as non-scoring. If Clear Spring wins the match, they receive 1 point. However, if Severna Park wins the match, no team points are awarded. But that doesn't mean that Severna Park victory was worthless, because they have just blocked Clear Spring from earning one of their scoring opportunities. We will have a time limit for matches. That will be determined after the match schedule is set, due to just our time and space restraints. We will work cooperatively together to come up with that. It will be applied to each match. It's not like at a certain point we'll start to time matches. So if 45 minutes is the time limit, that will be, each match will have a 45-minute time limit. If a match is not completed by the predetermined time limit, the winner of the current set will be determined by the team who has won the most number of games. If the sets are then equal at 1-1, a 10-point tiebreak game will ensue. The winner of the 10-point tiebreak will win the match. When it comes to team tiebreak procedure, if there is a tie with the final team division results, we will break the tie first by the fewest number of sets lost in all matches. And then if the teams are still tied after that criteria, the most games won in all matches will determine the tie. And if a tie still exists, the fewest number of games lost in all matches. Note, however, as I just explained, we might have to designate some matches with one team as exhibition or non-scoring. If a match is exhibition, the match is not considered in the tiebreak process at all. So if the entire match is exhibition. Similarly, if a match is noted as exhibition for a specific team, the tiebreak criteria, the sets lost, games won, games lost, are only considered for the non-exhibition team and not considered for the exhibition team. So I hope that is clear as to how we will keep track of score with those non-scoring specified teams. So at the discretion of the tournament director, which is myself, we may add additional time to the regulation time allocation if we believe a team is delaying the progress of a match. Protests. It is important that protests must be filed within 15 minutes of the completion of a match. A misinterpretation of a rule may be protested, but not a judgment call. I also want to note at this point, as is in the coach's resource guide, we will have scorekeepers on each court. They will not be considered referees. They are to keep score. Your student athletes should be making line calls and the like. We will have this year 3 court monitors who will walk around and help to enforce rules and to answer any questions that you might have. However, please do not consider those scorekeepers who are just, they're tennis savvy volunteers, but they are not referees. Just to note that. But protests have to be submitted in writing to the control center, and then a sports rules committee will review the protest on site immediately and deliver a decision. Parties will recuse themselves if their affiliate school is involved in the protest or competition under protest. So the rules committee will be myself and our assistant chair, Mark Sunkel, 2 coaches to be determined, and if appropriate, a student athlete. Here are just some miscellaneous reminders for coaches. Courts have to be kept clear at all times. You may coach from the fenced area during the changeovers and warm-ups only. Credentials will be issued to each coach for use during the tournament, and coaching is permitted during rest periods, between sets, and during changeovers, except after the first game of the set. Uniform. Players should be dressed appropriately for the weather. Right now it's looking like a chilly day on November 1st, so dress in layers to keep warm. Proper uniforms are mandatory for state tournament participants. Modest attire is expected. Teammates should wear similar style and color of shirts and shorts. Players not in a legal uniform may be required to change or be disqualified from the tournament. So please, student athletes should not be wearing things like jeans or khakis unless you've received some sort of waiver, which we haven't been requested at this point. No bandanas can be used as a full headdress. Headbands, wristbands, and armbands must be solid color. If a solid color, a piece of material may be folded, tied, and used as a headband as long as it is not wider than 2 inches. When caps are worn, the bill must be worn forward. So as I said earlier, teams are responsible for providing their balls for the warm-up. We will control the flow of that warm-up period starting at around 9:30 and end it at 10:45 in order to prepare for the opening ceremony. At the beginning of the first round of play, players will be given 5 minutes on court to warm up before their match begins, and then each round after that they'll have 2 minutes. Serves may be taken during the warm-up. Players should bring their own water to the court so that leaving the court area is avoided. Coaches are responsible to manage and control any inappropriate behavior from players, parents, fans, and spectators. Tennis is a unique sport where unnecessary noise and distractions are not allowed during play. So fans and spectators should remain quiet during play. They can cheer and applaud good shots and long rallies, but not unenforced errors. Unforced errors. Coaches should inform players, parents, fans, and spectators what is considered proper tennis etiquette. And the parents, fans, and spectators are prohibited from coaching or communicating with players during a match. Abusive behavior directed towards players or officials will not be tolerated. And as I said before, we will have 3 roving court monitors who will enforce those pieces of etiquette and rules. I just want to remind everyone of the principle of meaningful involvement. Since quality unified sports experiences are predicated upon the application of this principle, if at the discretion of the competition director or his or her designee, any aspect of this principle of meaningful involvement is not being followed, a warning and explanation will be given to the head coach of the team in violation. So we've used these examples in the past. These are examples, but this is not the limit of violations of the principle of meaningful involvement. But examples include when a team is receiving the serve, both players should share the front-back formation equally. No single player can play the net at all times. If the student athletes are playing in a side-by-side formation, one may not step in front of his or her doubles partner in order to make a play. Obviously, those things might happen once or twice, but we shouldn't be seeing it all the time. The serve must be shared between both doubles players, just as in any regulation tennis match. And there are other examples, but those are the ones that we identify happen the most often. So if there's continued failure to adhere to this principle, the first offense will receive a warning. Play should be suspended immediately so that tournament personnel or an official may have the opportunity to address and correct the situation. So coaches, if you believe something unfair is happening, or if your players believe something is unfair is happening, you should go and get one of the roving officials or anyone at the control tent, myself or any tournament personnel, to stop the match and address what is going on. We will then keep an eye on that particular match for any offense, after which a warning will be given. A second offense, the team in violation will lose a point in the current game, and then a third offense, the team in violation will forfeit the match. And that has been a consistent way of dealing with this for the last few years. So that is the end of our event guide. I did, before we take questions, wanted to give you all a glance at the team divisions. Give me 1 second. These are the current team divisions where we'll be scheduling matches from. These are still subject to change, although I'm 99% sure that they will not. So we will have 4 divisions, and you can see how they are broken down by the number of entries and the max scoring opportunities. And coaches, you will receive, we will send out the match schedule once we have it completed so that you can take a chance and look over it for roster consistency and any errors or the like. After the call has concluded, we would like any coaches who are represented on the call from Division 2, so Clear Spring, North County, Huntingtown, and Pocomoke, we'd like you at the conclusion of the webinar to remain on the line just so we can let you know about something happening with your division. And then, oh, I shouldn't have stopped that, sorry. This will be in your follow-up email. If you are running late for the day of competition, you are going to text or call Kristen Mullins from Special Olympics Maryland. Her number is on the screen, but as I said, we will put this out in our follow-up email from tonight. And that concludes my portion. We will take questions. As Melissa said in the beginning, we will not unmute the line just so we can keep static at a minimum. And if you have any questions at this point, after we've gone through all of that, you can type your message into the chat, or you can use the raise your hand option on your GoToWebinar panel that's on your screen. So at this time, we will take any questions.
Allie, this is Melissa. Coaches, just a note to all of you that I realize it is a long day, and we absolutely realize that people want to change and get comfortable for the ride home. A reminder, though, that the awards presentations is an opportunity and the last opportunity to represent your school, whether receiving the 6th place ribbon or the gold in your division. We'd really love for all of the schools to look the part, if you will, and represent their school well. So keep that in mind as the day proceeds and you move in and student athletes are done playing, that it would be great that they still are outfitted representing their school as they should.
Thanks, Melissa. I'm not seeing any questions pop up. Are you on your end?
Yeah, I do have one from Sue Snyder asking, are the athletes and partners allowed to wear khakis? And does non-scoring mean the same as exhibition?
Okay. Melissa, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not allowed khakis in the past. We usually require athletic shorts or pants. Is that correct? I think you might be muted. So no khakis. They have to be athletic, shorts or pants.
No, I'm sorry. Athletic attire. Yeah. And Docker style, so that would include khakis, would be permissible.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
All right. But no denim. No. Okay. I personally designate, when I do a match schedule, the difference between exhibition and non-scoring. Exhibition, but I can tell you right now, looking at the schedule, it does not appear that we will have any scheduled exhibition matches. Of course, as we noted, if a team comes in with a scratch they forfeit the match. A substitution can be made in order to play. However, that match will be exhibition, and it is the team point will or whatever will advance for the team that was there. So the scratch team forfeits that team point. The team point is advanced for the other doubles team, and then the match can be played as exhibition. Okay, but we won't include games won, sets won, any of that in the tiebreak for them. Non-scoring, it may be necessary in the match schedule to list someone as non-scoring, one of the two teams. And it'll clearly note, non-scoring for Northeast High School, to use a District 9 example. However, their opponent can earn a team point, but it is not the same as a straight exhibition match because Northeast still has the competitive opportunity to block their opponent from scoring. So that is the difference. I try to designate the difference between exhibition being a match that doesn't count for any team points or any tie-breaking criteria, and non-scoring where one team has the opportunity to score in a doubles match. Are there any other questions? Do you see any more, Melissa?
I do. Another question from Coach Conley out of Frederick.
Okay.
Do you know what time the skills competition will start?
Not a time, just an approximation. We will do the individual skills competition generally after the first round of play. So you'll see on the schedule when that comes through, and we'll use one court for that. We'll give a clear announcement for staging, and we'll gather all the student athletes who are in the individual skills competition and walk them all over together to the designated court, and we'll do them all at once at that time. That's generally, like I said, after the first round of matches.
Second question about skills. For the skills athletes, is one of the point opportunities for the team included or as a bonus point awarded if athlete wins?
That is a great question. It is included as as one scoring opportunity. It is not a bonus point.
Okay, and one more here. How soon will the schedule of matches be announced or distributed?
Instead of how soon, I'm going to say no later than Monday afternoon. So it could be as soon as tomorrow, whenever I can get it done, but no later than Monday afternoon.
Okay, the question, if we send an email early Tuesday with roster additions, volunteers, etc., will we get confirmation? I'll take that one. Coach Bowser and all coaches, if you submitted that to or replied to the somdsports@gmail email, you should have received a confirmation that that was received and signed by me. So hopefully that is the case. I'll go ahead and check that once again. Okay, another question. So once again, regarding mobility needs for student athletes or persons needing assistance or a drive, if you will, by way of golf cart down the access road, you will text Kristen Mullen, and her number will be included in the follow-up email. Please alert her as soon as possible, and then naturally, priority, if we have spectators that need assistance as well, priority will go to the student athletes getting those people down to the venue.
So it would be a good idea, if you know that, to alert Kristen at the beginning of your journey that you're going to need that, and then also give her maybe a time update when you're 15 minutes out or so that we can have an eye out for that. That would probably be the most orderly way to do that.
Allie, I don't see any more, so I think we're in the clear to sign off.
Okay, great. If we could just have the coaches from, if anybody's on the line from the following schools, I'll repeat them again. My computer will let me go back. Anyone who is listed on this screen for Division II, that is Clear Spring, North County, Huntingtown, and Pocomoke. If you could remain on the line, we have just some further instructions for your division only. Everyone else, we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, November 1st for our state invitational.